All right. Hey everyone, welcome back to Knitting in the Wild, what I am considering your new favorite vlog or podcast, whatever you want to call it. I think it can be called either, not really sure. I'm coming to you from a different campground today. But first, introductions again. I think that's how we do it. I am Sarah from Knitting in the Wild. If you are looking for me on the socials, feel free to look for me on Instagram, where I am Knitting in the Wild, or TikTok, where I'm also Knitting in the Wild, or Facebook, you guessed it, Knitting in the Wild. Or if you're looking for me on Ravelry, I am Knitting in the Wild, but the E in the is a 3. So that's a little weird, but that's what that is. Or you could always go to my website, www.knittinginthewild.com. Anyways, here I am camping in my favorite camping sweater out in the woods, feeling good. It has been raining pretty steadily since we got here, so this is kind of our first time out already this weekend, sitting practically on top of the fire because it's a little chilly. But you can see all the pretty woods behind me. I would show you Verna, but we traveled for 12 miles down a dirt road in the rain, and she is a dirty beast. She doesn't look red right now. She looks kind of pink because she's got just a layer of dirt on her. She'll need a bath. But anyways, welcome back. If you haven't checked out my first 2 episodes, feel free to go back and watch them. I'm going to try and do these in no particular order, so it's not like a chapter book where you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't see episode 1 and now I can't watch 3 until. Just watch from wherever you want. We are at, oh, look at this. I'm using my beautiful bullet journal that I talked about in episode 1 to plot out what I want to say today, so that I don't miss anything. Because as I mentioned, if I don't write it down, poof, out of the head it goes. So I did. I wrote down a few things that I want to talk about today so I don't forget. And I hope that they all interest you and that you keep coming back. So here we are camping at Sawbille Lake Campground. It is part of the Superior National Forest, which is way up north in Minnesota, right on the border of the Boundary Waters Canoe area. I think maybe, and I realize I'm a little biased, but maybe one of the most beautiful areas in the whole wide, well, I was about to say the whole wide world. I haven't actually been to every place in the whole wide world, but I have been to a few places, so I'm still calling it one of the most beautiful places. It is, you can make your reservations through recreation.gov, but most of the sites are first come, first serve. But I will, I'm going to insert some good footage right now. as you can see, I'm wearing my favorite camping sweater again. And you might recognize this. Yes, it's finished. It's not blocked, but it is finished. So I'm going to wait and show that in its entirety on another episode once I've gotten it blocked. But I finished it on the road trip, on the drive up here. So, and it's chilly, so I just put it on because I needed the extra warmth. The other thing I brought that I have been wearing this weekend is my classic ribbed hat by Purl Soho. It's a free pattern. Purl Soho has got all these free patterns, which are, they should all say classic in the name because they really are. They're all just really great. Just really great. And they just, yeah, I can't say enough good things about Purl Soho and their free patterns. So yeah, this is the classic ribbed hat. It's made with a DK weight yarn. It is, I don't know what yarn this was. I grabbed it from my stash a couple years ago and don't remember what yarn it was. But it's lovely and it's squishy and it keeps my head warm. And when it was raining yesterday, I didn't even realize that the hat itself was soaking wet until I got inside and took it off because my head underneath was dry, because we know that's what wool does, keeps you dry. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing. Now let's talk about whips. I started a whip yesterday because I have decided to do my first make-along. I know, can you believe, knitting 26 years, never had done brioche and never had done a make-along or a knit-along. I think that's crazy. I'm a loner, a rebel. So I rarely join. I'm not a joiner. But I decided to because this one seemed right down my alley. And let me tell you why. It's called Octobervest. It is hosted by the lovely Emily, who is the botanical knitter. And as you may have picked up by the name of the make-along, we're making vests. The reason it's called a make-along versus a knit-along is because it doesn't have to be knit. It could be crocheted, it could be sewed, it could be woven. I'm choosing knitting. And she has this group on Discord that you can join, and then you can go on there, and I just scrolled and looked at all these different ideas. And while I was scrolling, I came up with kind of a handful of vests that I thought, ooh, I could wear that. And the weird thing is I don't think of myself as a vest person. But all of a sudden, I started realizing that I have knit a lot of sweaters for myself that I don't wear a lot. And I don't wear them because I used to tend to be a hot-bodied person. And I'd get the sweater on and I'd be at the office or wherever I was and realize that I was sweating, and I'd just take the sweater off. And I was just always too hot. Or maybe I'd buy this yarn that I thought was super soft and beautiful and fluffy, and it had alpaca in it, and then I'd get it on and I would be an itchy, sweaty mess. So I have quite a few sweaters that, although I love them, I don't wear them because I just get so hot. But a vest could fix that problem for me. I could get the beauty of all the knitting, but not have so much fabric covering my body to make me all sweaty. because I can't just wear my knits in the woods. That nobody sees me here. And some of these knits deserve to be seen. Do you know what I'm saying? I know you do, because we don't knit so that nobody else will look at them and go, oh my gosh, did you knit that? I did. Right? You feel me. You can relate to that. So yeah, so when I saw this make along, I went, I'm in. I'm doing it. I probably won't say a lot on the Discord group because that's just not my way. I know that seems weird because I talk a mile a minute, but Emily, if you're watching this, thank you for the Octobervest make along, because I am all in. In fact, I went through, I chose some vests, I broke it down to about 5, and then I decided on this one. Look at, isn't it beautiful? It looks like a style that I would wear. I can see myself in this. I've got some funky pants that I would wear these with, this vest with, and that mustard yellow. Oh, come on. I even told my mom, I was like, listen, I know mustard yellow is not my color. It'll make me look sickly, but I do not care. I'm too old to care what color I am. Am I an autumn? Am I a spring? I don't care. I'm wearing what I want. You should too. So I was looking for a good yarn for that. And again, I kept finding myself drawn to ones with alpaca in it. And sort of, but I really wanted that mustard yellow, right? I really wanted that mustard yellow. And I came, as I was surfing the interwide webs, I came across the 100% superwash merino by Lion Brand of all things. And although I am a little bit of a yarn snob, Lion Brand still works for me. So Red Heart, no. That's just my personal preference. Red Heart is like a hard no. But Lion Brand, we're going to check this out. So it comes in a mustard yellow. So I ordered some up. It should be here in a day or 2 or 5. Who knows? The mail is not what it used to be. So I'll get started on that as soon as it gets in. But what happened was we pulled in for gas in Sandstone, Minnesota. And as we pulled in for gas, Dan said, hey, look, it's a quilt and yarn shop. Do you want to go? I mean, that's like asking a kid if they want candy at the store and expecting that they're going to say no. Yes, of course I want to go to the yarn shop. So we did. We got our gas, and then we pulled into the yarn shop. Quarry Quilts and Yarn in Sandstone. And I was quite pleasantly surprised. Their yarn selection is small, but it's good. So then I was like, oh man, there's a lot of good stuff here. What can I get to knit? And I don't know of a project. And then I remembered my second favorite vest project was the Gramps Slipover. And they had this Queensland collection, a Walkabout organic Shetland wool. And these 2 colors just said, please make me into the Gramps Slipover. They didn't actually talk that high. So they only had a couple on the shelf of each of these. And I asked, do you have more? She said yes. And I walked out with this vast amount of sweater yarn, wool yarn, organic Shetland wool, and started it up right away. So Gramps Slipover has already been started. So that's my work in progress for this trip. I did a little swatch. As usual, I had to go up a size. I tend to knit a little tight. So yeah, we're gonna start that, get that going. Hopefully I can, the Octobervest, make along, I believe is a 2-month make along. So if I time this right, I could have 2 new vests in one make along period. So yeah, those are my works in progress. As I mentioned before, I'm kind of a monogamous knitter, so I don't really have much else going on. I'm going to be working on some hats, some more bulky hats, because that's always a good thing to have around. I think I might do a market at the end of the year just to make a little extra cash for Christmas, you know. Oh, and this is not a work, well, it's kind of a work in progress, isn't it? If you are in Minnesota in October, specifically October 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and you plan on being at Yarnover, I think you can still sign up for any of their classes, but I will be a vendor with my little trinkets at Yarnover. So if you're there, find the Knitting in the Wild booth and come and say hello, because I would love that. I would love to see some of you in the real life. And the next thing, the next part of the next segment is some of my favorite things. I'm not going to sing the song. You do not want that, but think Julie Andrews. So some of my favorite things. These notebooks. They are Fabriano EcoQua. I don't know. I get them from Dick Blick online because I can't find them in stores anymore. And they have, the size is just so nice. And the paper itself, nothing really bleeds through it too much. And it's got the grid. It helped. This is different than my bullet journal, definitely, but this is where I keep like my ideas and for, you know, what I want to do. And as I'm making this video log, I've been writing goals for it in here just to kind of, and ideas for that. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I bought some Stylecraft yarn, DK weight. It's an acrylic yarn, but a lot of people make like blankets, crocheted blankets with this yarn. So I thought I'm going to give this a try, because what I'd really like to make myself is a granny square kind of cropped sweater thingy. So I started making a list and gluing in the different colors. So I'm going to have a whole of all the colors that I have so that I can just easily kind of look at them and see. So this notebook, it's one of my favorite things. I have a whole bunch of them. I buy them probably 5 at a time because I go through them kind of fast. So that's one of my favorite things. A second of my favorite things is a St. Paul Yarn Co. I don't even believe it is. You can only get it at the Yarnery. Anthology Yarn Company out of St. Paul. This color is a chanterelle. This is I believe it's a DK weight. Old Growth, Volume 3. I designed a sweater pattern using their fingering weight. And it's just, oh, it's amazing. It's soft, but it's rustic. You know, okay, here's the thing. A lot of times when I look at rustic yarn, I expect that it is just going to feel like you are putting a sheep's butt right up on me, and it's going to be scratchy, and you know, do you know what I'm saying? I think you do. But this is, I mean, look at it, just, it's very rustic looking, but it feels, so it is a Midwestern merino Corriedale, woolen spun in Wisconsin, hand dyed in Minnesota. Buy it while you can. That's all I have to say. This particular yarn has been purchased by my aunt last year, I think. She meant to knit herself a sweater and then brought it all to me and said, can you knit me a sweater? So now I get to knit with it, which I love. So this is one of my favorite yarns, yarn companies and dyers. It's just a really good local to me anyways, maybe not to you. But if you want to see what they have in stock, you should go to the Yarnery's website, because it's not, because it's a small, I think it's a 2-person outfit. It's not, you know, it's not Cascade. So you got to see what they've got available. Linked below. I think that's it. Oh, I was going to share one more of my hand-dyed yarn, my own hand-dyed yarn with you, because why not? Because I felt like this also was a very good color for the woods where we were at. It's called Moody. I felt like it really went with the background, so I threw it in the bag. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you come back for the next one. I don't know. I do have a few ideas for some tutorials that I'm going to put up on here. They won't be considered episodes, but just, you know, some little ways that I can share some of the crazy knowledge that's up there in the brain. But yeah, so if those interest you, give a like, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and share. If you know somebody who this might be interesting to, please share. And I will see you next time. All right. Have a good week.